Hi, this is kind of a video review for Aervoe military vehicle and recreational camo paint. And apparently it meets FS 595 color specs of olive drab. Not to be confused with OD green. Obviously, some people think OD green and olive drab are the same thing, but they very much are not. So again, with that, well, it's pretty easy to apply. I mean, if anybody's, it's similar to spray paint, but you know, obviously application-wise, pretty much is the exact same thing. But I've seen people have spray painted weapons, and this works much better. I'll put it that way. Spray painted a couple things here, and one of them was a return MP5 front forearm, and this was for a GSG5 that I sell. And the thing was defective, like I think is the pressure switch did not work, and the company said they'd just send me a brand new one just to throw it away. The wiring was all messed up, and but you know, I decided, you know what, I could torture test this thing. So I applied the coats, and as you'll see on this side, this is like the nicer side of it, obviously. I gave it just like a couple on this ridge area. I gave it some really hard rubs, just, you know, just like I think I had gloves on, and I was just trying to like rip it away, where you know, just like giving it some really hard abuse there. And then on the other side here, I actually just I'll get it pretty close here so you can see right here. I just took the blade and actually recreate this so you guys have a better example of what I mean. Just kind of, you know, eventually it broke through in two little areas. I think that's just because I was starting to really like get into there. Here I started stabbing it and started to go through, obviously pretty decent. And then here is where I just really, you know, went into it with the blade. I would say it holds up pretty decently, because I mean, even, you know, with anything really, you're just trying to like use the blade, it's just gonna go into it. So and you know, the thing is too, right here, this is where the impact marks. I just threw it on the ground, stomped on it, and obviously it broke. It's on the cheaper side, it's nothing super expensive, but it has those marks. You know, it has pretty decent wear. Nothing great, but nothing bad, so pretty decent wear. And again, that, you know, is just, that was kind of a durability test of it. Now, on the other hand, I did the Spikes Tactical. They're their shorty stub full grips as a shorty and whatnot, and then the more of a longer part for the bottom attachment. But you know, this billet, I wish the whole thing was billet, because it very nicely sticks to it, except these little it's kind of like rubber stickouts. I had to apply quite a few coats for it to properly stick to that, and you know, I would be questionable, like, after, I'm talking a lot of, you know, just running around and like just constantly like ripping at it, if that stuff's gonna stick really great. Definitely doesn't have that rubber additive, whereas actually I mentioned this too in the mission spec camo. I gave this little part, like all the rubber stuff usually has like an additive in it, and I just had a little bit of blackness on it, but I just really started ripping at it and whatnot, and obviously it kind of started coming off more. So definitely one of those things that probably isn't gonna last. But you know, otherwise, well, I guess just to get to the price, this cost me about 12 bucks, you know, for a whole can, and you could probably easily coat a whole firearm for that. And that was with shipping, by the way. I bought it online. You know, it's, let's say you buy a Colt UMRX 22 or like a SIG 22, something of that sort, and you want to, you know, spruce it up, but obviously you don't want to spend like 135 for a basic color, or, you know, get a couple hundred on a very advanced color, or maybe you even want to buy OD green and, or sorry, olive drab here, and let's say tan. You kind of want to do like, you know, a woodland camo type thing or something of that sort, or even do woodland camo itself. You know, it's much more cheaper than Duracoat or any of those other applications. So I don't know if necessarily I'm going to do any of my weapons in this. I think I might do a 22 or something of that sort in it. But you know, I got to try it out just for the hell of it. And like I said, if this was all billet, I'd be very happy with it. So, but it does not stick to rubber well at all. That's kind of my only real warning to it. And this was with multiple layers. I think I put only 3 layers on this grip maybe, and that was because of the little things. And then on this, I think I put 3 or 4. So, you know, it doesn't hurt to put many layers on. So, but yeah, I think it's a good alternative for a very cheap thing. So, but just be very wary of putting it on rubbers, or you know, obviously when I say rubber, it's different than like a polymers type stuff. So, that's all I really gotta say about that. But for, you know, fuck, $12, you really can't go wrong. Would I use it on something very expensive? No. 22, sure. You know, maybe you buy a high point carbine. Probably not probably make it look cooler because it's a high point, but definitely. And otherwise, you know, for this mission spec camo job I got done, you know, if you guys are looking for Duracoats, something I definitely look into. So, and that's the reason I went with it, because, you know, actually I bought this a while before, and then I decided to, you know, do the mission spec camo because I have the money to waste on that. But if you're very poor, definitely wouldn't hurt to go with this. And anybody's looking for a free flashlight, feel free to message us. Otherwise, this thing's probably gonna go in the garbage in a couple days. So, but yeah. Any other questions you guys possibly have, I'll try to help you out as much as possible. And apparently, it's pretty decent stuff. You know, it's field tested for 20 years, it says on there, and I don't know, it seems to be pretty good. I'll get a little close up through this slowly. You guys can read it and pause if you need to. But besides that, find it online pretty decent. There's a couple people, I think Cop Hideout or Cop Shop or something on eBay, that's the guy that I got it from. So, but again, just a cheap alternative. Nothing that I would personally suggest on anything expensive. But you got 22 of some sort, you want to spruce up, definitely the thing to do it with. Alright, take care, and feel free to subscribe.